We don't need new games, we have games at home. Don't let shiny boxes cause dad eyes to roam. Let's list them, let's beat them, don't be a game hog. Come join the new dads as they tackle the backlog.
Woo! There was the applause on that. Come on.
Just like see if I can get it done.
Perfect.
Adult beverages are poured. The kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming. It's a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives.
So my name is Trevor, and I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 14-year-old and an 11-year-old.
Each week we try to show that just because you became a dad
Does not mean it's game over.
And on this one, we're going to try to make it game over on a whole lot of games that we own and we are not currently playing.
That's the hope. The hope.
So this show we wanted to talk all about the gaming backlog. Shout out to longtime friend of the show, Tori. Reached out to us. He had I believe he might have even instilled the idea upon us, and it was something that we had wanted to take on. Am I remembering the sequence here correctly?
Yeah, he's going to be the one that instigated this whole thing and is holding us accountable on see how far we can get into the new year without buying any new game and playing the backlog, what you already own or what you already have access to.
Perfect. Yeah, so excited to get into that. And, listeners at home, if you, gaming dad, have backlogs, if there's any in particular you'd like to put up as an offering to discuss, like these are the games we're trying to get, just start a conversation with the community, reach out to us at New Dad Gaming or newdadgaming.com. We'd love to see what you may be trying to tackle for this year. Now, before we want to get in, this is almost a PSA that I wanted to bring up, or a, borderline warning for gaming dads, put it that way. So we had talked about on the previous show how my kids had started to get into Fortnite.
Right.
And my general assumption was at the time, well, Roblox is so filled with like low rent garbage that at very least Fortnite has this barometer of quality.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah.
It's got all the problems. Like let's not, we don't have to put wool over our eyes, but at very least the game has this degree of quality. Now, Jeff, could you describe what you're seeing on screen?
It looks like just like one of those old games. I'm pretty sure I had this on like Windows 98, and it's just one of those space games that you just have 8 directions and you fire.
Yeah, it is like top-down asteroids, right? So, basically top-down asteroids, except it's like ship v ship battles.
Right.
There's a pretty bad-looking UI, like pretty poorly designed. That's Fortnite, Jeff. They got Roblox in my Fortnite, Jeff.
You can't escape. You can't escape it at all.
Fortnite, and for those like people listening at home that have lived the Fortnite life, like they probably had like a very like soft chuckle as they sat there talking. It's like, well, at least the game has this barometer of quality,
right?
Because seemingly what Fortnite has done is opened up like creator modes. And basically what you can kind of think of it as is almost like a merger of Grand Theft Auto 5 and their nonsense mixed with the kiddie type silly nonsense focus of Roblox in Fortnite.
Okay.
I was so discouraged as I discovered this stuff existed, and it's just everything under the sun. And it's all what killed me, Jeff, what killed me deeply inside is that it had all the same stupid thumbnails.
Oh, that's amazing.
That they have in Fortnite. Like Bluey or whatever, like the color kill gang showed up. Skibbity Toilet was there. All of them, Jeff. And it's the same stupid thumbnails right inside of it.
But how did this come about? Did you come downstairs, your kids are playing Fortnite, and you're like, all right, I'm just going to join as player 3. And you're like, what is on screen? I thought we talked about this. What is going on?
I was playing with them, and then like I'm just kind of browsing around as we wait for the match to go, and I start to browse down, and then there they all are.
Oh, okay. So
It's
it's
just
like
these
in your
thumbnails.
face. Okay.
And it's like, what are these things? Like, what am I seeing? And then lo and behold, it's just creator worlds with all these kind of crazy, silly, dumb games. It's just Roblox inside of Fortnite. It's the same garbage, Jeff, that I didn't want to have, that I have still. Like, it's so upsetting, man. It sucks.
I do hope that people, if they did listen and they were just waiting for you to discover this, you're like, oh, wait for it. He's going to find out that Roblox only comes to you.
I mean, look on screen, right? Like,
Yeah,
you could
yeah.
just, like, if you're watching it, if you look, gaming dads, unless, again, like, most gaming dads are better than me. Let's just put it out there.
Okay.
But for others who perhaps were along with me on my journey, like if you search what's called creative maps, like the best Fortnite creative maps, you will see the garbage. And at very least, these games are probably have some gameplay to them.
Yeah.
But even in so, like they look terrible. It looks like garbage.
Right.
So now my kid, I'll say that now, I did not discover it in the sense that I came down and my kids were playing it. So they've not really discovered this aspect of it. They like currently the game loop of just playing the main one, like the main like elimination.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I just ban it from the house. I'm like, no, you're not allowed to play any of those. If I find you playing those games, I will just cut this game out of the house.
What's wrong, Dad? Shut up. We're not going to play Fortnite again. We're playing something else.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to think of anything else that exists that wouldn't have this lowbrow user-generated content.
It seems like it's pretty successful, and everyone just injects it into their games. So,
there's no, yeah. So to all the gaming dads who were waiting for me to discover the Roblox-like nature that Fortnite has, congratulations. I remain defeated.
Beautiful.
Again, at very least, I will say otherwise, Fortnite is going strong. We've had some like fantastic battles, like the three of us, like we're just all in it and having fun. I do like playing it as opposed to like Roblox, like that core game.
Okay.
So it is still an upgrade despite this like recent revelation. So like, see where it gets to. They got me, guys. They got me. They got Roblox in my Fortnite. All right, now on to more of the task at hand. So we wanted to talk about the backlog. So. Yes. Gaming dads, why don't tell you what? I've been yammering here for a second. Why don't you when we say backlog, like what comes to your mind with regards to gaming?
So backlog for me, again, would be just the games that I've owned that I've either just shoved up on the digital shelf or in the physical cases. Like I bought them, I might have opened it, might have cracked it, might even play the first 15, 20 minutes of it, and then just kind of left it and moved on. Or I got distracted and bought the newest thing. And then moved on, and they're just all sitting there, and they're looking at them, and I never go back to them. I always say that they're there, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll get to that, but it's there.
And you also think about just the new game comes up, like you buy a game, you're starting to play it. Oh, this is wonderful! Like I'm having a great time in this world.
Yeah.
And then like you're walking down the street, and a guy opens up his jacket, and he's got like a bunch of games just dangling. Hey kid, you want to do something new? I'm like, ooh, wow.
Absolutely I do.
And you buy that, and a la Toy Story, where the kid just drops Woody on the floor. It's like, I don't need to play with you anymore.
Yeah.
The game is dropped, and you no longer see it. You don't think about it a second time.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the carnage that represents, because some of the games that we've left behind are these like beautiful, fantastic titles that we enjoyed so greatly, but like never touched again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's an issue when, again, I'm rushing through a game just to get to the next one, and then I'll end up dropping it. So, yeah.
So that's what makes it this year interesting. So the nominally, one of the ideas around it, I'll say this, like it takes on a different meaning because of the way currently that the gaming industry lives. What I mean by that is like classically, like you used to have like physical discs or cartridges, right? And it's like, okay, I have like 20 cartridges, and that's what I'll play. But the place that we're coming in, and why I think in some ways we need to expand the idea of it goes beyond just purchasing games. Because I think what I'd like us to envelop is it's also just not taking on any new games. And why I think that is important, that distinction is important, is because Prime Gaming, if you have a Prime account, Twitch just gives you a game. Like they'll give you 4 or 5 games a week sometimes. It gets crazy.
Yeah.
Like in solid full titles, like they were giving like the new Tomb Raider away a week ago. Right? Epic Game Store, every week, brand new title.
Yeah.
Not to mention the entire host of like free-to-play games. Like Destiny 2 is now a free-to-play game. You could just, I'm going to just pick up this brand new game and play it. So that, and like previewing to your, like, depending on your thoughts, my general take on what we're going to try to accomplish here is that no new games coming in. So obviously don't purchase any, but don't start playing any new game that comes across your desk just because it's free.
Right. Yeah, and I think just to add to that, a lot of the subscriptions that you have, so I used to have PS Plus before it got a little too expensive, so I didn't renew. I found those monthly games, again, 2-3 solid titles, would sit there, and you're like, well, I'm going to try it out, and they would interrupt. I would either get into one and then drop my other stuff and then never come back, right? So kind of stopping some of those seems to help. But
yeah, and that's a perfect one thing too, because I big believer in Game Pass, like, or just, not supposed to believer, I just enjoy Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
But in taking this challenge, like this huge loophole that I could enjoy, it's like, well, I'm not purchasing anything, and I just start up whatever game is on that system, like whatever 50 games that exist upon it. So I think the larger thing is like nothing new coming into the house that you play. You are only to play things that you currently own.
Yeah. Which is a lot. I think that's enough, right? Like, we'll get into it, but it's enough.
So, man, I want to hit that. Like, what I'm really curious about is, do you have anything on the horizon that you think will break you? Like, do you already see something that's launching in like 2 months and you're like, this is going to be hard? Because I desperately want to play that game.
You know, okay.
We're already putting in like it's not a caveat. It's just like, do you see a very difficult test coming your way?
I think, okay, so yes, I do. Just with the launch lineup of the Switch 2 is likely a really good one to have with the kids and family, and rumors having that being launching very soon. That might break me. That might be like, oh, well, let's dip in, but
it's not for me. It's for
not
my
for
kids.
me, of course not. Trevor, are you serious? So
I don't want to break it, but my kids are asking me to play.
Yeah.
So I can't not play a new game. It's like I'm just being a gaming dad. It's what the whole podcast is about.
I've got a podcast to keep up with, so like I'm just saying. But that might break me. I don't know. What about you, though?
Yeah.
Anything on the onset that?
Honestly, no. I could have imagined Slay the Spire 2, which I believe launches this year. Massive fan of Slay the Spire 1, but I've also not beat. Slay the Spire 1 is on my backlog because I've never actually beat it, despite all the time. So that was probably about the only thing that comes to mind. If they release like a new version of Elite Dangerous, or
ooh, yeah, that would do it.
I think we would have heard about that for now, so I think we're gonna be fine.
Yeah,
I think VR would be probably one of the harder ones to accept too. So if the next most amazing VR experience comes out, the one that makes it totally worthwhile that I purchased a headset,
right,
that would be a little bit harder to take compared to some other games, I believe.
Yeah, that's a good one, I think. Like,
yeah, or even sense. To like, I think if my kids, let's say like Nintendo does drop, or even just like some other amazing title, or kids get into an awesome, amazing new game, they're like, Dad, come play with us, this new game. Again, you'd have to decide.
Your kids love or the backlog? Which is it?
It's like the podcast or the kids love. It's just like, what are we doing here?
I don't know. Tough call.
Yeah, there. Like I said, there's going to be some interesting type of calls to make there, but
Yeah.
honestly, just like with the titles I have, I feel pretty good, and I don't know. There's not like let's for instance, I don't think. Ooh, actually, I'm curious. I don't know if the new Borderlands is coming out this year.
I think it's supposed to, along with
Ooh.
Avowed, which might be.
Is it 4 or 5? No,
I think it's. I'm not sure. I think it's 4.
It says.
Oh, you're fine. It'll be next year.
That should be okay. So it says the Borderlands 4 release window narrowed down to fiscal 2026, likely between April 2025 and March 2026.
Yeah.
Which is pretty vague. So
yeah, I think you're safe there. But like I've always thought of GTA 6. I'm like, do I want to purchase it? Do I want to buy it? But that's supposed to be out this year too.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of like a media event, right? Like it's a whole thing. So
we will be missing as a gaming podcast. We have committed to miss the biggest game release.
Yeah, like do
the past decade.
I don't know.
That'll sound funny. Honestly, I've still not played Grand Theft Auto 5, so
I mean, it's been out for a decade now, so
yeah. So not sure we'll miss it. All right. So one thing. So again, a big shout out to Tori for the initiation of the challenge. I think like we're kind of set on the general rules of it. Yep. Really hope to hear from some gaming dads. Do write into us at newdadgaming, newdadgaming.com. But we did put together our backlogs. I shouldn't say we didn't put up back our backlogs. As you saw, my Steam account had 270 games.
Yes,
inside.
It did.
Now, a lot of it is hot garbage because it's one of those. It's like a humble bundle, and here's 50 games.
Yeah.
And here's like the 5 that you actually want.
Right.
So, but there is still a lot of games. Like there's no denying that. However, I was able to narrow. I went through the list and came up with what I'd consider like this is what I'd like to focus on in this year of backlogs.
Right.
And the another shout out to Tori. He had introduced us to a site called Infinite Backlog. So infinitebacklog.net. And this site can connect to your various game accounts if you want, or you could just like manually put them in. But it's a way to put up the games within your backlog and keep track of haven't played, gave up, completed, like all this. There's a bunch of statuses on all these games, and otherwise it's kind of like a nice list.
Yeah.
So I put together what I'd kind of consider the top ones that I want to focus upon. But before I read them out, like look at it, look at all the game boxes I have on my screen.
Yes.
Is there any that jumps out at you from what you can see?
That jumps out like you're never gonna complete this, or like oh my god, like, why haven't you completed this?
All of the above. Like I said, there's just for whatever reason. When you look at my list of boxes, like what from my list like jumps out the most?
Okay, right away, Fallout New Vegas. What are you doing?
I knew.
What is?
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem. I don't know. For some reason, I thought you had played it, even like completed it. I thought you had already done all of it, and you're like, I'm adding this one in. I haven't even started it.
Never once touched it. Yeah, so
what?
As was a huge surprise to Jeff, I have never touched or played Fallout New Vegas. I own 2 copies of it for some reason across like a couple libraries.
Oh, even better.
I just like what's most fascinating, and like again a little bit of a history lesson. Like we're coming up on like 9 years of this podcast.
Yeah.
And when we started, during those first years, I had purchased Fallout 4. Right. And that was my first Fallout game ever.
It's just crazy to me. I don't know why I thought different. I have no idea.
You had mentioned it before the show, and you were just shooken to your core that I'd never touched it.
Because I'm not even a Fallout person. Like, I enjoy the game, whatever. But even I've played New Vegas. I don't know. I just thought, whatever. Yeah. Okay, that'll be a hard one for you to complete. Like, I'm glad that you have it on there, but
just because because of the game or because of me?
Because the game is structured in such a way that you are absolutely going to try and do everything in it and get burned out on it. So maybe it's you, maybe it's the game. We'll see.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Yeah, I think there's got to be some part where it's almost like I need to almost fight those type of completionist demons that I have.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I'm going to make any dent in this list, I'm going to have to learn to just bomb the main quest line sometimes, because otherwise, like, this thing will just go on for years.
Well, it comes with all like the updates too, right? So you're like, what are all these quests?
Yeah.
everything is popping.
Yeah. Not another thing I will put out, like, it's not we're going to try to beat these games. I am too old to dedicate myself to lost causes or bad like goals.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I will say this: if I get into any of these and I hate it,
yeah,
I'm not finishing it, or it becomes tedious. It's like, you know what, man, just like that's fine. Like this one's I gave a good faith effort. And it's not just because it quote unquote got hard. It's sort of like any of these games. It's like, all right, I gave a good faith effort to try to play this and get into it. I appreciate it, but I've got my money's worth. I'm moving on. Like I'm checking this as I am done with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I can attest to that in some of the games too. It's like you're reading like partway through a book and you're like, I'm not going to spend the rest. Like I get it. Like it's not for me.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
So to list out what I have, what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. I have 18 games listed. Ooh. That's probably that's more games than I've beaten in the past 10 years, probably. So like, okay. I'd have a hard time believing I'd actually do it. So we have Slay the Spire.
Yes.
I've never totally top to bottom finished it. There's there's an actual, it's a roguelike, but there is an ending, and I've never seen it.
Okay.
Spider-Man Remastered.
Good one.
I feel like I'm making pretty good progress on that one. Like I'm really loving it. Like, and I'm kind of not straight shotting it, but like doing pretty well with progress.
Just involve the kids in that one. You'd be like, hey, can you go get all the items for me? I'll do the story quest. Thanks, bye.
Oh, that might actually work.
Right? Because they can find all the hidden things, and then you'd be like jacked up to go into the bosses. So,
yeah, Elden Ring. Would like to put that to bed. That's a challenge, man. I don't know that I'm that good at gaming.
Is a challenge. Yes.
We got God of War, aka Dad of War.
The original. Yep.
Yeah, that's going down to easiest setting and just like do the story because I love it.
Dad mode.
Horizon Zero Dawn. I've mentioned that a few times on the show. Final Fantasy 12.
Wait.
Made decent progress on that.
You've completed it before.
Yeah, that is true. But I bought it specifically for a replay.
Okay. All right.
So now that it exists, it's like, all right, I bought it. I had started to play it again.
Yeah.
And I'd like to keep playing. So I want to finish that story.
Comfort game, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Super Mario RPG was one of my favorite RPGs. I've never beaten it.
No, I haven't either.
UFO 50. This one's interesting. This was a recommendation from friend of the show, Capozzi, Jeremy, and it's fascinating. Utterly fascinating as far as a game concept. Like it's literally 50 games and they're all like little sprite based. I've unfortunately come to learn that apparently there's like a meta game to it.
Oh.
Like everything feeds into other things and it all results in a thing. I stopped myself that, and I'm not being coy. I literally don't know anything else.
Right.
I've just come to learn like that, hey, by the way, there's kind of like some layers to this.
Okay.
Which is A, encouraging, but B, it's also like, damn it. It means there's more. Because I'm on the first game of it and I have no idea what's going on. Like this is like NES style. Good luck. Here you go. Like die a bunch and figure it out. So we'll see.
Good luck.
Yeah. So I don't know what beating this game looks like. We'll give it the old college try. Mario Luigi Brothership, excellent RPG. Want to give that a throw. Fallout New Vegas, Disco Elysium. I think that one you played.
I did play it, did not complete it, but that's a good one. Again, you just commit to the decisions and go. So that will actually be a nice little story to kind of funnel through.
Yeah. Okay, we got Host of the Dying Sun. That was mostly for like the VR otherwise, but looked like a fantastic game. Ollie World.
Oh.
So I picked it. Yeah, I picked this one up a while ago. Just adored. I love the idea of the first one as far as like the color and the concept. I love skateboarding games even to begin with. So everything kind of clicked for me. They released this. I got it on sale. Played a bit and just got busy. So it's something I want to kind of dip back into.
Okay.
Shadows of Doubt.
Yes.
This is a weird... Man. So this is the procedurally generated voxel game, and this is
Right.
something I highly recommend gaming dads go take a look at. As far as like some playthroughs, especially there's a couple of YouTubers that do a classic like noir style retelling
Yeah.
of some cases they've solved, which are just like gorgeous, man. If I had time on my hands, I could dedicate a lot to just doing that voice.
Yeah.
The dame walked in. I could tell she'd seen some things.
You should just keep it throughout like your entire day too, like with the family, and you're like, "Oh, Dolly, like what's going on? Hey, kiddos."
Crime's afoot, my lady. Meh. So, like, but it is a procedurally generated full city, but I mean full city, like every building you can go into every single room, and every single room will have like furniture and everything else. So it is an entirely realized space, and within that, crimes happen, and you have to very legitimately piece it out from a logic perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, he said he was on this in this corner. Let me check if there's a camera. Oh, there is. Okay, I have to break in, and then I have to hack the system and then review it. Okay, that's one piece of evidence, but that's not enough. So I have to ding, 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 ding.
Right. Yeah.
And some is like literally like somebody gives you a binder that someone dropped, and on the back of matchbook is a number that's an apartment that then has a contact. Like it goes deep,
You're gonna have
man.
notes on this game. You're like a binder full of just how to.
I think
complete.
it might be a bounce off in the sense that like I think you could probably put like an hour or two into it
Yeah.
and achieve like nothing in the most frustrating degrees.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So Spec Op the Line.
Oh,
I
you
don't-
haven't completed that one, eh? Or
No,
have you played it?
but heard it's one of those kind of masterpieces of gaming where like the story and the double takes that make you do would be amazing.
Yeah.
Star Wars Squadrons, mostly for the VR aspect of it.
That'd be cool.
I want to give that a spin. Diablo 2
Okay.
had bought that remastered on Xbox actually, but I've never actually finished it myself anyways, even in my history.
Okay.
And bought the remaster, so let's do that. And then Ghostwire Tokyo, like I saw these like reviews of it. It's like I have it. Looks wildly interesting.
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot.
Okay. Like I have it.
I got the game.
It's
so-
there. Yeah.
I don't know that we have the visuals for it, but I do want to like, what does a Jeff backlog look like? And I don't know, like, did a further like flood of games come back to you because you have the Steam Deck, and have access now to a Steam library you hadn't for a while?
Some of them, yes. So like one-offs like Hollow Knight, I never completed. But I love Metrovania games and Metroid, so I thought I'd probably give that now. Dip back into that. That one definitely. There's a lot of like I'm a big RTS fan, so like
Yeah,
replaying StarCraft 2, even Age of Empires, all that stuff. I kind of want to get back into and just have fun with it. Age of Empires 2, I don't know if I've ever completed the campaign, so that might be a fun one. But like stuff like Hades. I have never completed
Yeah.
Hades. I have done runs, and I don't think I'm that far in the world, maybe halfway. But I was like, oh no, like I had a good time with it. Again, just distracted and moved on. So that's another one where I'm like,
Yeah. Small tip. I don't know if you've turned it on, but they do have a mode where every time you die, you get a bit more armor, or like that you get extra life.
I remember
but-
you saying that, so I will look for that option because
Yeah, just
it'll make it a little bit more, I don't know, doable, I think.
Yeah, I
Otherwise
get-
I'm frustrated.
I appreciate the challenge of it, and for those people who thrive on a challenge,
Yeah.
it's fantastic game. Honestly, one of my favorite games of all time. Like that's how much I enjoyed it. However, like I'm just not somebody who enjoys a punishing challenge, and it's like I knew, and because there was a story to it,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like there's not. You can play this game endlessly, but ultimately there is a tract where the story ends, and I wanted to see that, and I didn't
Yeah.
want that tied to my ability. So I had, it's like, so this checkbox that you can have is like every time you die, you get 3% more armor.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm totally
Or
turning
you
that
take
on.
you take 3% less damage. So eventually you're going to
You're
win.
just
if you-
invincible.
yeah.
I'm
Sorry.
good for that. That's great. Those are probably like the outliers, but like a lot of the other ones that I've looked at are like big 100-hour RPGs. So Baldur's Gate 3, I have been ongoing playing. I do want to finish
Excellent.
that. I just need to commit. Fire Emblem Three Houses. Just
Okay.
love that. Have about 30 hours in it, but it's like a 100-hour game. Dragon Warrior 3 HD Remake. Haven't even started that one, but want to play it. And then there's other ones like Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I had a great time with that. Still haven't completed it. I want to get back to that one. And
Good choice, yeah.
Kingdom Come Deliverance. So the sequel's launching. I really do enjoy the original, but I always get to a point and then I stop. And that reminded me, like, oh yeah, Final Fantasy VIII. I restarted that again.
Oh, jeez.
Played around with modding it a bit. Got it running, got into it again a good dozen hours in, and dropped it at the exact same point. So it's like
Every time. Oh, hello, Darkness. I have a friend. I remember
Right?
this boss battle.
and
Outta here.
it's one of those backlog games that I want to beat it, and it's more like no, this is holding something over me, and I'm always gonna think about it, and that's the one I need to beat. So if it's like all stars of what's the top one you want to beat, Final Fantasy VIII, I want to at least get past the point
Amazing.
where I drop it. So
That is a great way to think about it too. So, why would we do this? It's an interesting challenge. It's kind of cool to go back, but there is something about games left unbeaten, especially ones that you like or respect, or it's like this was such a great game. It's like and I got distracted, and it's like all these other shiny trinkets came in, and I took my eye off the ball. Like, why not put some time in to beat this thing, to get that like monkey off my shoulder,
yeah.
and just and claim that sense of success.
Absolutely. I have like nightmares about this thing. I'm like, no, I'm going to beat it. It's gonna happen. I need to know what happens. I'm surprised I haven't been spoiled on it, but I need to know what happens.
So which one? So you mentioned some pretty beefy RPGs. Like, which one scares you the most? As
Baldur's
far as,
Gate
like,
3 scares me.
Baldur's
Baldur's Gate
Wasn't
3
there wasn't a hint of hesitation.
No,
I didn't finish
absolutely.
the question.
immediately, because there's so many decisions, and some of those decisions I'm like, oh, okay, is this really gonna screw up my game, right? And I have to go like kind of look it up, and then I'm like, that's one decision out of hundreds. So am I gonna get turned around and be like, it's a huge game, it's a massive game, so that one scares me.
Okay. Now, what's second best? What's the second one? Actually, no. Let's try this one instead. What are you most excited to get back into? Because you know for sure it's going to be just fun and a blast. You can't wait to dive back in.
Okay, so definitely Hades, because I think that one is absolutely a banger. And one I didn't mention, Octopath 2. So Octopath Traveler 2. I have about 35 hours in that thing and fell off for some reason. Like, I'm at like the last quarter of it, and I don't know why I gave it up. But that one is a really good game for anybody that appreciates like pixel art in that style, and it's really well done, and the stories are so good. I don't know what distracted me from it, so that one excites me too. So for sure, those ones.
That's amazing. I will say, actually, so one I had included in here was Elite Dangerous, and I meant to have it on this list. I absolutely adore that game. Like, probably one of the best games, probably one of my most marquee games that are on my catalog. And probably the one I've spent the most time into. So, but you can't. There's nothing to beat.
No,
like,
it's kind of ongoing, right?
Yeah, which is cool. And again, another shout out to infinitebacklog.net, because they actually have a category called continuous.
Perfect.
So they're not going to dock you. It's like, you can't finish this game.
Yeah.
But I will say, what I'm curious about is if, I don't know if they're still doing it, but you may recall a number of years ago, I attempted to do the journey with them.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the Great Explorer Journey. Every year, every commander is to travel some godforsaken amount of light years across the galaxy, starting in one place and finishing another, to the point where like it takes like commitment. Like, you have a week to drive from here to here, and that is, I don't know, like 4 to 5 hours of like in-game time. So you have to, and you have to be prepared, because there's no stations out in the black void. So like, you have to leave being fully prepared. Maybe you run out of fuel, so somebody comes and save you. Like, it's a whole caravan that happens. It was a blast. I don't know if they're still organizing it these days. I'd have to like search into it. But as far as Elite Dangerous goes, A, just play it some more because I love that game.
Yeah.
But B, maybe consider participating in that Great Voyage just as like something to hang my hat on of like, oh, I got to do this thing in one of my favorite games. Especially if I could do it in VR. That'd be nuts.
It's your Final Fantasy VIII. I'm just saying, it's like
to travel across the galaxy
That's
on my
right.
own time.
It's your thing. Yeah, that works.
Dad trucking.
Yeah.
All right. We'll wrap it up there for the week. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. Thanks for accommodating us as we go through this trip down backlog lane.
Yeah.
I am curious to hear from the gaming dads to see out there if anyone is taking up this similar challenge. I have heard some chatter about it online. And I said it's less about, while not spending money is wonderful, we do some savings, like that's always great, be a little bit less consumerist.
Yeah.
It's more about the why not try to stop and enjoy what we already have. So, so not even taking in new free games and new streaming games, like just look at that pile of games we have, and for 1 year, give it a play. So if any gaming dads want to hop on, would love to hear from you. Love to hear your game list, your reasons. If you have I think we can all friend up on infinitebacklog.net.
Yeah.
So we could all kind of join. We'll get some chatter going. Reach out to us on X, Twitter, Facebook, Blue Sky, anywhere you can find us. New Dad Gaming, New Dad Gaming Podcast, or at our website, newdadgaming.com. If you like the podcast, if you'd like to subscribe to it, you can find us on all the major podcasting networks. So iTunes, Google, Caster, Spotify, anywhere where you find podcasts, just search for New Dad Gaming. Give us a subscription. What really helps the show is if you could also give besides a subscription, if you give us a rating and a comment, helps boost the signal, gets out there to see how many fallen gaming dads we can find who are sitting upon a mountain of games and want to chip away at it. So everybody, thanks so much for listening. Until next week, my name is Trevor. I have 270 games. I have 18 or so listed I'm going to try to tackle. And I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 14-year-old, an 11-year-old, and hundreds of hours of backlog games.
And 1 year. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Remember, everybody, just because you became a dad
Does not mean it's game over.